Welcome back to Business Research Method course. In this video, we will continue our discussion about positivism research or quantitative research, specifically about data collection and analysis. This video is prepared and presented by BRM teaching team of School of Business and Management of ITB. As a refresher, here is the positivism research framework that presented in previous session. We have been discussed that the hypothesized relationship among variables cannot be tested unless we are able to operationally define and measure the concepts or variables. Such topics have mainly deliberated in the 7th step, the research design. At this point, I assume that you have known how to operationally define variables and apply different scaling techniques to measure the variables. It is important to make sure that the instrument, such as questionnaire, that we develop to measure a particular concept is indeed accurately measure the variable. And that, in fact, we actually measuring the concept that we set out to measure. This ensures that in operationally defining perceptual and attitudinal variables, we have not overlooked some important dimension or elements, or include some irrelevant ones. Hence, in some way, we need to assess the goodness of measures developed. That is, we need to be reasonably sure that the instruments we use in our research do indeed measure the variable they are supposed to, and that they measure them accurately. Therefore, we will focus our discussion on the 8th step, data collection, analysis, and interpretation, and specifically about the goodness of measures, which is part of data analysis. Let us now examine how we can ensure that the measures developed are reasonably good. When we have instrument that comprises sets of questions, item analysis can help us to see if the items in an instrument belong there or not. To determine whether an item or a question is good in measuring variable, the item should be valid and reliable. Very briefly, validity corresponds with accuracy. It represents the extent to which a measurement tool measures what it's supposed to measure. As for reliability, is associated with the preciseness or precision, whether a particular technique or measurement tool applied repeatedly to the same object yields the same result each time. Here is an analogy to validity and reliability. If you think of a measurement as analogous to repeatedly shooting at the bullseye on a target, you'll see in the first image that reliability looks like a tight pattern regardless where the shots hit, because reliability is a function of consistency. Validity, on the other hand, as portrayed in the second image, is a function of shots being arranged around the bullseye, with at least one shot hits the bullseye, regardless the dispersed pattern. Lastly, the third image illustrates valid and reliable results. We are able to hit the center of the target, and when we shot repeatedly, the results are around the bullseye with low dispersion. To understand the definition and the importance of validity and reliability, we will use a physical concept measurement as an illustration. Imagine that you want to scale your body weight. First, you need to determine the correct instrument. There are several instruments that can be used to measure weight, such as these. Which one will you choose? You know that the first one is usually used to measure the weight of food ingredients. Thus, it is not suitable to measure your body weight, obviously. The second one is more appropriate to measure body weight. However, it is used to measure baby weight. Thus, you will not choose this one either. The last measurement instrument is more suitable to scale your body weight. As an adult, I bet you will choose this one. This illustration is associated with validity, or how well an instrument measures the particular concept we intend to measure, and in this case is the body weight of adults. Let's say that you choose the last type of scale. You step on the scale to measure your body weight. It shows 75.1 kilograms. You're surprised because the last time you scale, your weight is around 72 kilos. You think you gain weight. Then you step on it again to ensure whether you really gain weight. You are more surprised because the results jump to 88.3 kilos. But somehow, you are a bit relieved because there must be something wrong with the scale. Then for the last time, you step on the scale again, and it shows 68.8 kilos. From this result, you make a conclusion that the measurement tool is not reliable. You will not get the right information about your body weight from it. From this illustration, we can conclude that determining the right measurement tool is essential. Choosing an inappropriate instrument can lead to several problems, both the process in measuring itself and the data acquired, even for physical concepts. Since business and management research often deal with measuring perceptual and attitudinal variables, it is imperative that the instrument used to measure such variable is reliable and valid. There are several types of both validity and reliability. In this video, we will talk about the types of validity. As for the types of reliability, will be discussed in separate video. There are three general types of validity, namely content validity or face validity, criterion validity, and construct validity. Criterion validity comprises predictive and concurrent validity. As for construct validity, consists of convergent and discriminant validity. We will discuss them one by one with several examples to comprehend more about each concept. Content validity or face validity shows evidence that the test items adequately cover the test domain or representative. On the other word, it ensures that the test domain interest is comprehensively covered and captured. Let's say that I want to examine your ability in basic statistics. What should be tested? All of these topics supposed to cover the ability of basic statistics, which is the test domain. And what if I only test you with these three topics? Are they represent your ability in basic statistics? Is this test valid to assess your ability in basic statistics? Well, unfortunately, it is not. The test is underrepresentation or deficient. The test items lack of representing the ability of basic statistics. How about this test? What if I choose these 5 topics to measure your ability in basic statistics? Is this test valid to assess your ability in basic statistics? No, it is not. There are irrelevant topics in it. The test has contamination. As aforementioned before, the measure should cover all aspects of what is being studied. For instance, measurement of math skill covers algebra, calculus, etc. As for measurement of English skill, covers listening comprehension, structure and written expression, reading comprehension, and test of written English. The last example is that the measurement of intelligence cover IQ and EQ. Therefore, in assessing content validity, we need domain experts to judge whether the items in the instrument have covered the concept we intend to measure. We can also use standard or related literature to ensure that the measurement tool is valid in terms of content validity. The second type of validity is criterion validity. It portrays that a measurement tool is able to predict the behavior it is designed to predict. The validity is shown through concurrent and predictive validity, which typically measured using statistical correlation. Concurrent validity administers the assessment today and also analyzes the results today. For example, you are a consultant and propose a new type of test to a company. As a demonstration, you conduct a sales competency test to the employees of this company. Actually, the employees' performance have been known since a company has already had their record. The new test is valid if there is a high correlation between the assessment and the actual recorded performance. Another type of criterion validity is predictive validity. It administers the assessment today and checks someday in the future whether the performance corresponds to the assessment. Let's use an example that all of the SPM students have ever been assessed by such kind of measurement that confirm the predictive validity. Do you have any idea about this test? Before entering SPM, did you take any entrance exam? Well, your test of academic potential, or you know it as TPA or TPA, and other tests such as GRE, GMAT, or SAT can be used to predict your GPA. The last type of validity is construct validity. It shows evidence that a test adequately captures the concept or construct that it is designed to capture. This test is aimed to show convergent and discriminant validity, which is typically measured by correlation. Convergent validity is established when the scores obtained with two different instruments measuring the same concept are highly correlated. On the other hand, discriminant validity is established when, based on theory, two variables are predicted to be uncorrelated, and the scores obtained by measuring them are indeed empirically found to be so. For example, you want to measure the concept of introversion using 4 tests: solitude, sensation avoidance, sociability, and social self-efficacy. What would be the correlations among them? Well, let's examine each correlation whether it should show convergent or discriminant validity. Score on solitude and sensation avoidance test. Should it conform the convergent validity or discriminant validity? The relationship is supposed to show convergent validity, since the more a person avoids sensation, the more likely he or she enjoys being alone. How about sociability and social self-efficacy scores? Is it convergent or discriminant validity? It should also show convergent validity, since the more a person enjoys social interaction, the more confident he or she about his or her ability to exert control over one's own motivation, behavior, and social environment. Next, sensation avoidance and social self-efficacy scores. This relationship is supposed to portray discriminant validity, since a person who often avoids sensation tends to get anxious easily, especially when he or she in social situation. Lastly, solitude and sociability. Well, I think this one is obviously showing discriminant validity. As for solitude and social efficacy, and sensation avoidance and sociability should also show discriminant validity. Previously, we talked about the relationship between solitude and sensation avoidance score supposed to confirm the convergent validity. If we visualize the scores of each task into a scatter plot graph, it should show positive correlation like this. Similarly, the relationship between sociability and social self-efficacy scores will also show positive correlation, since it corresponds with convergent validity. As for relationships that assimilate with discriminant validity, such as solitude and sociability, should show negative correlation, as illustrated in the graph. Well, that is a wrap. We have finished the discussion about the types of validity. Now you have a full comprehension about them. Remember, choosing the instrument that do not conform validity and reliability can lead to several problems, both the process of measuring itself and the data acquired. Fail to measure the concept appropriately means fail in collecting data. As a consequence, we cannot continue our research to test the hypothesized relationship among the variables. Therefore, it is imperative to assess the goodness of measures developed in our research. Well, that's it. I hope you have enjoyed the video and thanks for watching.